Hey gang, if you've been watching my channel for a while, then you know I'm big on building spreadsheets. Maybe you've caught one of my tutorials teaching you how to build your own expense tracker or visualize your savings journey. But for this video, I'm doing something different. Instead of a straight how-to, I'm peeling back the curtain to show you how you might build out your own financial systems based on how I'm choosing to build mine. And for today's video, I'm specifically focused on building an automated financial expense tracking spreadsheet. So we'll talk about why I'm choosing to go this route, how I decided on the tool that will make that automation happen, and I'll walk through my initial setup. So think part tutorial, part peek into my real life expense tracking. Now, I've built many tracker spreadsheets over the years, and my last one was definitely the most thorough. But the problem is that it's just not automated enough. While I've managed to automate how my transactions get categorized using code, which has been a game changer for saving my time, it's getting the transactions into my spreadsheet that's the problem. Because I have to log into each one of my accounts, export those transactions each month, and paste it into my system. Now, this was totally fine back when I had one or two credit cards to worry about. But being that I have multiple different accounts, it feels like a real drag every time I have to do this. So it's time. I need a system that's simple and does this manual work for me, even if it means I have to pay for it. Okay, now before this video, I had done some quick research on connectors that could send data from my bank accounts to my spreadsheet. And the two tools that came up were BudgetSheet and Tiller. Now, I've used Tiller many years ago, so I was a bit familiar with them, but I had never heard of BudgetSheet before. So to get started, I first needed to decide which of these two tools I would give a shot. So the first thing that I did was I pulled up ChatGPT to do a product comparison. Now, you could use any generative AI tool for this. I didn't use ChatGPT for any other reason other than it's the most popular one right now. But honestly, I probably would have gone with Perplexity or Gemini in retrospect. But anywho, for my prompt, I asked ChatGPT to compare these two tools side by side in a table format, mainly so that I could save it to a spreadsheet and easily go through the list later. And in this case, for my prompt, there were specific things I cared to highlight between my two contenders, like ease of use, reviews, and security. So once ChatGPT generated that table, I pasted it into my spreadsheet, added a notes column on the side here, and began to go down line by line to see where one tool beat out the other. Now, as I was going down the list, I realized that BudgetSheet was winning out for me in most of the categories. And that's not to say that Tiller wasn't a powerful or impressive tool as I was going through this. But remember, my main focus was to have a tool that's simple and would be able to securely sync data from my accounts to my spreadsheet file. I really didn't need anything more than that. And while Tiller seemed to have more bells and whistles, like additional resources and templates, that was more than what I truly needed. So I decided to go with BudgetSheet. Okay, so once I decided to go with BudgetSheet, it was time to install the extension. From their website, I clicked the link to open the extension in the Google Store, verify that I gave permission for it to access my Google information, and had it installed. Super easy. So once it was installed, I refreshed the spreadsheet that I was working from and saw that it was now visible in the extensions pane. And remember what I said before that I used Tiller years ago, which is the main reason why you see it here. But anywho, now that the extension is visible, I could open it and go through the setup steps within this side pane. The main next step was to let the extension populate my file with the various spreadsheets that it uses to sync data. So I clicked the button here and waited for all the background automations to run and properly set up my sheet. So these were all of the different sheets that it put together, but the main ones that were of interest to me were the Transactions tab and the Categories tab. Okay, and honestly, the logs one too, but that's mainly because I'm a tech nerd and enjoy seeing logs. But let's move on. Up next was linking my first account, which was the real test in all of this. So I did this through the side pane for one of my credit cards, and the process was very simple. As of this video, Plaid is a fairly well-known and trusted connector for sending bank data, so I was happy to see that BudgetSheet uses them for this connection, which also jives with what ChatGPT shared in our product comparison. So once I signed into my credit card account using Plaid, the account became visible in the side pane within my spreadsheet and transactions started to flow in. Now, as they were coming in, I was pleased to see that BudgetSheet automatically categorized each one based on the list visible here. Now, expense categories are an area where I am super particular, so I fully intend to revamp these to how I use them, which I'll go over in more depth in my next video. But if I didn't have any categories to start with, this would be a pretty solid list. And then pretty much my final step at this point was just to navigate through the side pane and the different tabs to see what my options were. The side pane also links to some pretty clear, straightforward looking documentation on BudgetSheet's website, which is a plus whenever you're using technology tools that have clear written resources you can access. So overall, gang, my thoughts so far that this tool did exactly what I set out to do when I started researching my options. It was easy to set up, met my simple requirement of syncing data, and at least for now seems structured in a way that's going to be useful for me, but also flexible enough to my particular brand of finance tracking. So I'm going to wrap today's video here, but stay tuned for the next video where we'll likely dive into the categories and start customizing the system in an intentional way. So if this video was helpful or interesting, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what questions you may have for me, or if you have any tips. And to know when the next video drops on categories, be sure to subscribe. See you soon.